Time isn't as straightforward as we think. Research shows our brains can actually distort time, making seconds feel like minutes or moments seem to freeze, especially during intense experiences. For example, when you glance at a clock, it might appear to stop briefly, an illusion called chronostasis. This reveals that what we call time is deeply tied to perception, not just a ticking clock. Here's the striking truth. Time as we experience it is often an illusion created by our minds. Did you know about this fascinating fact? What is time, really? Time is something we all experience every second, yet its true nature remains one of the biggest mysteries. What if time isn't this unstoppable force flowing outside of us, but instead, a concept created by our minds to make sense of the world? When you think about it, time is how we measure change, sunrises, seasons, aging. But without change, would time even exist? Humans invented clocks and calendars to organize life, but nature doesn't follow a ticking clock, it simply moves through events. This means time might not be a fundamental part of the universe, but rather a tool we use to understand it. Science backs this up. Einstein's theory of relativity revealed that time isn't fixed. It can stretch and shrink depending on how fast you're moving or how strong gravity is around you. This isn't just theory. Astronauts in space experience time slightly differently than we do on Earth. So time isn't the same for everyone, everywhere. It's flexible, not absolute. This challenges everything we think we know about the past, present, and future. Maybe time is less about clocks and more about perception, a mental framework that helps us navigate life. If time is an illusion, then what does that mean for how we live? Could it mean that the moments we experience right now are all that truly exist? Understanding time this way changes how we see our lives, pushing us to focus on the present, instead of worrying about what's next or what's behind. Time might be a trick our brains play, but it's a trick that shapes our entire reality. Time as a human construct. Time as a human construct is a fascinating idea that flips how we usually think about our daily lives. We often assume time is this universal, unchanging backdrop against which everything happens. But in reality, time is a system we created to bring order to the chaos around us. Think about how different cultures have developed various calendars and ways to mark time. Some based on the moon, others on the sun, and even seasons. None of these are natural clocks. They're tools invented to help us coordinate activities, plan for the future, and remember the past. Nature itself doesn't follow a strict schedule. Rivers flow, trees grow, and animals live their lives without consulting a clock. This means time, as we know it, is more about human convenience than an absolute cosmic rule. Our brains are wired to perceive events in a sequence, which helps us survive and make decisions, but this perception doesn't necessarily reflect how the universe operates. When you realize time is a human-made framework, it opens up a new way of looking at life. One where the pressure to beat the clock or save time might just be a habit, not a necessity. This perspective encourages us to slow down, appreciate moments as they come, and understand that the ticking clock is more about us than about the world itself. Time might be a clever invention, but it's also a reminder of our creativity and need for structure in an otherwise unpredictable universe. The physics of time. Einstein's theory of relativity completely changed how we understand time. Before him, time was seen as a steady, unchanging river flowing at the same pace for everyone, everywhere. But Einstein showed that time is much more flexible. It can bend and stretch depending on how fast you're moving, or how strong gravity is nearby. This means that two people experiencing different speeds or gravitational forces can actually experience time at different rates. For example, astronauts orbiting Earth age just a tiny bit slower than people on the surface because of these effects. This isn't science fiction, it's been proven by precise experiments. The idea that time is relative shatters the old notion of a universal clock ticking the same for all. Instead, time becomes something intertwined with space, forming a four-dimensional fabric called space-time. When objects move or have mass, they warp this fabric, causing time to behave in surprising ways. This discovery forces us to rethink what time really is. It's not an independent entity, but a dimension affected by the universe's conditions. Understanding this helps us see that our everyday experience of time is just one version of many possible realities. Time's flexibility at cosmic scales hints that what we perceive as fixed and absolute is actually fluid and dependent on perspective. This revelation is one of the most profound shifts in science and philosophy, inviting us to question how we live and perceive existence itself. Time dilation explained. Time dilation is one of the most mind-blowing consequences of Einstein's relativity. It means that time doesn't tick at the same speed for everyone. If you were to travel close to the speed of light, your experience of time would slow down compared to someone standing still on Earth. So, while minutes might pass for you, hours or even years could pass for others. This isn't just theoretical. It's been confirmed by experiments with fast-moving particles and precise atomic clocks on airplanes. Time dilation also happens near massive objects like black holes, where gravity is so intense that it warps space-time dramatically. For someone falling into a black hole, time would seem normal, but to an outside observer, their time would appear to slow down and almost freeze. This phenomenon shows that time is not a universal constant, but something flexible and relative to your position and speed. It challenges the everyday assumption that time flows uniformly for everyone. Instead, time becomes a personal experience, varying with circumstances. This idea opens up fascinating possibilities about how we understand aging, travel, and even the nature of reality itself. Time dilation reveals that the universe is far stranger and more complex than our everyday experiences suggest, making us question what we really mean when we say time. The arrow of time. The arrow of time is a concept that explains why we experience time as moving forward, never backward. This directionality is closely linked to entropy, which is the measure of disorder in a system. According to the second law of thermodynamics, entropy always increases over time in an isolated system. Think of it like a messy room that naturally gets messier unless you clean it up. This increase in disorder gives time its arrow, pointing from past to future. Without this tendency toward greater entropy, time might feel reversible, like a movie you can rewind and play forward again. But because entropy grows, events unfold in one direction, creating the flow of time we experience. This concept connects the physical laws of the universe with our psychological sense of time passing. It also explains why memories exist only of the past, not the future, and why causes come before effects. The arrow of time shows that time's passage is deeply rooted in the fundamental workings of the universe, not just in human perception. Understanding this helps us grasp why time feels so real and irreversible, even if its nature is more complex than it seems. Memory and perception of time. Our perception of time is deeply tied to how our brains process memories and experiences. We naturally divide life into past, present, and future, but this may be more about how our minds organize information than about time itself. Memory creates a sense of continuity, allowing us to remember what happened and anticipate what might come next. However, the present moment, the now, is fleeting and constantly changing, making it hard to grasp fully. Neuroscience shows that the brain constructs this flow of time by linking events and sensations, giving us a sense of progression. This means that what we experience as time passing could be a mental narrative rather than an external reality. Different people can perceive time differently depending on attention, emotions, or age, which further supports the idea that time is subjective. For example, moments of fear or excitement can feel like they stretch out, while routine tasks seem to pass quickly. This subjective experience of time challenges the notion of time as a fixed, objective dimension. Instead, time might be a personal, flexible experience shaped by how our brains interpret the world around us. Understanding this can help us become more mindful of how we live and appreciate the present moment more fully. Quantum mechanics and time. Quantum mechanics radically challenges our everyday understanding of time, revealing a reality far stranger than we imagine. At the tiniest scales, smaller than atoms, particles don't follow a straightforward timeline. Instead, they can exist in multiple states simultaneously, a phenomenon known as superposition. Even more puzzling is entanglement, where particles influence each other instantly across vast distances, defying classical ideas of cause and effect. This blurs the linear flow of time we take for granted. Some interpretations of quantum physics suggest that time might not be a fundamental dimension, but an emergent property arising from deeper, timeless laws. In this view, the distinctions between past, present, and future become less clear or even meaningless at the quantum level. What we experience as time could be a large-scale illusion created by the complex interactions of countless particles. This challenges not only physics but also our understanding of reality itself, pushing scientists and philosophers to rethink existence. Is time truly a basic part of the universe, or just a useful concept humans use to make sense of their experiences? This question remains one of the most profound in modern science, inviting us to explore the mysterious fabric of reality beyond everyday perception. Time and relativity versus everyday life. In our everyday lives, time feels fixed and absolute, a steady rhythm guiding our routines. However, physics reveals a far more complex picture. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time is flexible and depends on your frame of reference, how fast you move or how close you are to massive objects like planets or stars. While these effects are profound in cosmic settings, they're incredibly subtle at human scales, which is why we rarely notice them in daily life. This creates a fascinating gap between scientific reality and our everyday experience. We rely on clocks and schedules that seem rigid and universal, but the universe operates with a fluid, relative concept of time. This contrast highlights that our perception of time is shaped more by practical needs than by cosmic truths. Recognizing this can deepen our appreciation for the complexity of time and encourage us to question long-held assumptions. Instead of seeing time as a fixed backdrop, we can start to view it as a dynamic, ever-changing part of the universe, one that challenges how we organize our lives and understand existence itself. This shift invites us to think beyond the clock and embrace a more nuanced understanding of reality. Philosophical views on time. Philosophers have long debated the nature of time, presenting two main views that challenge our everyday understanding: presentism and eternalism. Presentism holds that only the present moment truly exists. Past and future are illusions, no longer or not yet real. This aligns with our intuitive experience of time flowing, where the present continuously replaces the past. In contrast, eternalism argues that past, present, and future all exist simultaneously, like points on a vast landscape. Our sense of now is just a moving point of awareness within this timeless block. Eternalism finds support in physics, especially Einstein's relativity, which treats time as a dimension similar to space. These perspectives suggest that time might not be an external objective reality, but a mental construct shaped by how we perceive existence. This debate invites us to rethink our relationship with time, questioning whether what feels real is only a part of a larger, more complex universe. Understanding these views helps bridge philosophy and science, deepening our grasp of reality's true nature. Living beyond the illusion. If time is truly an illusion, it fundamentally changes how we live our lives. Instead of being slaves to clocks, deadlines, and schedules, we can shift our focus to the present moment, the only moment we genuinely experience. Letting go of the idea that time rigidly controls every second opens the door to a more fluid, mindful way of living. This mindset encourages us to fully embrace experiences without rushing toward the future or getting stuck in the past. It suggests that true happiness and meaning come from being present, not from chasing after time. Recognizing time as an illusion can relieve the stress and anxiety tied to its relentless passage, helping us appreciate life's moments as they unfold naturally. Rather than prisoners of time, we become mindful navigators, finding peace and fulfillment in the now. This shift transforms how we relate to ourselves, others, and the world, making life richer and more meaningful. Embracing the present moment allows us to live more deeply, free from the constraints of an imagined timeline, and opens a path toward greater awareness and contentment. Thanks for watching this deep dive into the illusion of time here on InnoVision Tech. If you enjoyed exploring these mind-bending ideas, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos on cutting-edge science and technology. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and share what fascinates you most about time or any questions you have. Together, let's keep pushing the boundaries of knowledge and innovation. Stay curious and see you in the next video.